We all probably know that today the world population is almost 8 billion, of which 2.5 billion are Christians and 2 billion are Muslims. But what catch my attention is that if you do a simple search on the internet, you can find at least 50 movies and documentaries about Jesus Christ, about his life and about the history of Christianity. But Muslims may remember only one movie about Prophet Muhammad, which was The Message, made by Mustafa Al-Akkad in 1976. And although the director of the film was Muslim, the film was made by Hollywood. Perhaps the reason that so little attention has been paid to the Prophet and the history of Islam in cinema is the high sensitivity and prejudices of Muslims against the Prophet and their caliphs. Muslims are not interested in an actor playing the role of the Prophet, and they believe that the face of their Prophet shouldn't be compared to an actor. However, many Muslim artists have made films about the history of Islam and Prophet Muhammad. Hi, my name is Yasin, and today I want to talk about the best movies about Prophet Muhammad and the history of Islam. You might say the first movie made about Islam was The Message, but this belief is wrong. Egypt was the first country to make a film about Islam and Prophet Muhammad. The first film that was made about the history of Islam was Bilal Muazzin al-Rasul.
ما بالي أنظر إلى الآلهة وإني لم أرها قبل الآن.
This movie was made in 1953 and it was about parts of the life of Bilal, one of the most important companions of Prophet Muhammad, and the progress of Islam in Saudi Arabia. Later in 2016, an animation was made about Bilal.
أن أهتدي إلى الحقيقة.
Federal Islam. In Federal Islam, the difference between the culture of the Saudi people before and after the advent of Islam, as well as the influence of the Prophet on the lifestyle of the Saudi people is shown. Also in this film, the conflict between the infidels and Muslims at the beginning of Islam is shown with a different perspective. They have tried to use these conflicts as a social symbol in line with the eternal battle between good and evil to display the use of this point of view in the narration of the story has made Federal Islam a distinctive work among the films that have shown the conflicts of the beginning of Islam. This movie was also made in Egypt. Ashima Ukhtur Rasul. Ashima Ukhtur Rasul, or Ashima, Sister of the Messenger. This film was made in Egypt in 1972 and 1 year after the production of the movie Federal Islam, and it was about Shima, the half-sister of the Prophet. I think this movie is the most different movie in the list because it has a musical mood, and when Shima wanted to talk about Islam and Prophet Muhammad, she started singing. Overall, watching this movie was a strange experience.
I know God is not kept in the house.
The Message. Perhaps the work of Mustafa Al-Akkad can be considered the most famous and well-known work related to the life of the Prophet of Islam. This movie was made in Egypt in 1976 with the presence of world-famous actors like Anthony Quinn. This film tells the story of Prophet Muhammad after his mission and after his 40th birthday, which tells the events of the beginning of Islam and shows all the wars, conquests, and tragic events of the beginning of Islam. According to some reports, after this movie was translated into 12 languages of the world and broadcast in several countries, it has caused a number of non-Muslims to convert to Islam. Also, according to some media reports, it's estimated to be the best film in the history of cinema in terms of the number of views. Actually, I'm pretty sure that all the 2 billion Muslims watched this movie at least one time. I'm sure.
My soul is also a slave, but not to you. to God.
Muhammad the Last Prophet. It's an animation made in 2002 by Badr International Studio, and it was shown in cinemas of several countries. This animation has actually tried to show the first days of Islam and the first days of the Prophet's mission.
وابتدأت رحلات قريش التي ورد ذكرها في القرآن.
Muhammad, the Final Legacy. This is the first drama series that portrays the life of Prophet Muhammad in accordance with Islamic traditions and existing restrictions. I mean, without depicting him and his caliphs, wives and children according to Islamic traditions. This series, which was originally called Qamar Bani Hashem, means Bani Hashem's moon, was broadcast on Islam channel and TV channels in Islamic countries like Turkey and Pakistan in Ramadan in 2008. Muhammad, the Last Prophet. The work of Majid Majidi is the only Iranian work on this list that was made in Iran in 2015. Although this film couldn't achieve much success in the world, it became the best-selling film in Iran in the same year and was well received by people and the favorable opinion of Islamic scholars in Iran. The film starts with showing the days of confinements of Muslims in Abi Talib branches and immediately shows the Prophet's childhood with a flashback. I think this is the most underrated movie in this list. I mean, great cinematography, great directing, everything was great. Actually, it was the most expensive Iranian movie ever, and it was supposed to be a trilogy about Prophet Muhammad, but it's 9 years that I have no news about new episode. Well, if you watched the movie about Prophet Muhammad that wasn't on my list, I'd be happy to write it in the comments. And finally, if you like my content, I'd be happy to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. See you later.